Hi, and welcome to the Lone Star Play podcast, where we sit, eat, chat, and repeat. I'm your host, Patrick Scott Armstrong, and we are coming to you from Austin, Texas. The Lone Star Play podcast is produced by Texas Real Food. Go to texasrealfood.com, and you can search your city for local restaurants, stores, butchers, farmers markets, and more who are using organic, fresh, artisanal, and local sources. It's a fun site that brings all natural options all together.
My favorite memory growing up was learning how to sing from my parents. I mean, my mom was always cooking in the kitchen, listening to like Linda Ronstadt, Patsy Cline, and then I'd ride in my dad's truck, and he was listening to U2 and like Celine Dion randomly sometimes. And so, you know, growing up in church too, I mean, my favorite memory is sitting on the back row of church because we were always the biggest family and the latest family, and my dad would stand up to sing with the whole congregation like everyone else, and I swear the only voice you could hear was Steve Anderson's. Like, that was it. He would just and I would be so embarrassed. I'd be like, Dad, like, you're singing so loud, like, can you just like blend in with everyone? And he's like, I'm a great singer. Why would I want to sing loud? You know, he's like, you got a voice, use it. Nice. Thanks for having me, Patrick. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you perfectly, loud and clear.
Yeah, well, I don't have a problem with being loud, so.
I've been told that by my wife as well, so we're good.
It is a Texas thing. I really do think it is. So
I think you're right.
Whatever.
So I love that. So Abby, thank you so much for joining us. Where exactly are you at during the pandemic? Where are you holding down?
Yeah. Well, so I just got engaged. So I'm in Georgia right now, hanging out with my fiancée. And I've been kind of in between. We've been in between like Nashville and Georgia, kind of doing that while we're building the house out in Nashville. But it's been fun. It's been good.
Oh, nice! Congratulations on the engagement, first of all.
Thank you. I know. I'm so proud of myself.
What were you thinking? Like, oh, I'll never do this. I'll never get married. Were you one of those?
Not even like as a girl, I think it's just something you think about sometimes. But then, I moved to Nashville when I was 17, and I just didn't think I'd ever find someone who was gonna like put up with me. So and frankly, when I met him, I was on tour, and I was just let me tell you, Patrick, I was having the best time flirting with everybody. And I just really didn't think I was going to get engaged till I was like 30. But here I am 2 years later, and I'm happy. He's a stud. He's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. Once you find him, don't let him go. I'm married.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, it's the best. My wife said the same thing. She thought she would never get married, and look what happened. We're 10 years now.
Yeah. Oh, Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Yep. So yeah, absolutely. Well, look, continued success. That's awesome. So you're going to build a house there in Nashville. So what do you prefer? Like being in Georgia during the pandemic, Nashville? Are there any, pros and cons to either?
I mean, I like his house. Like I've got my little place in Nashville. I've got a little condo there, and it's perfect for me. But then there's something about coming to like a real house, and you feel like you're with an actual grown up, and they have the nice pots and pans. Like I always tell him, I can't cook at my little condo anymore because I like using his pots and pans and his nice knives. It's just different. I'm still using Target stuff from when I was like 18. So he's got the nice stuff here. So I like it here.
Is he the cook in the family? Does he like to cook?
He's the griller. Like he's the meats guy. And I will say we both have a love for food. We both love food, but I'm definitely more the person where like 6 days a week, 5 days a week, I can eat the same thing, whatever gets the job done, whatever makes me feel good about myself. And that man needs like I mean, he is all about savory and taste and what tastes good. Doesn't give a crap about what's in it. Just does it taste good? So we're very different that way. He's the one who makes the Chick-fil-A trips 3-4 times a week, and
got to get that Chick-fil-A in. That's
yes,
hilarious.
exactly.
That's good that they have it. Outside of Texas. For the longest time, it was just here, right? It was in Dallas, more specifically, I think, right? Where
yes,
you grew up in Dallas, right?
Well, I grew up in Dallas. We had man, I don't know about, I love Austin. But you guys are still based in Austin, right?
Yeah.
The one thing about, I feel like I grew up in such a big family that we didn't grow up doing going through the fast food a lot, but once a week, actually probably twice a month after church, we would go to Golden Corral.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're familiar with Golden Corral. I don't know if that's a Texas thing. It's probably not, but that was the big thing.
Yeah.
That was and I feel like when you don't grow up going out to eat a whole lot, you just binge on the rolls, and you're just trying to eat all the good stuff that you can to last you through the next month. So we did that, and Whataburger is close, near and dear to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Gone there many a 2 a.m. high school nights there after a good football game.
Absolutely.
That's the place to go.
Did you, I kind of grew up in the same area. I actually graduated from Colleyville Heritage. I'm older than you, but I grew up in that area as well.
No, I grew up in Southlake, so I know exactly where you are. Yeah.
I know Southlake very well, in fact. Yeah.
So you'd probably, oh, sorry, I was going to say, you'd probably be surprised to know that my mom is not blonde and does not have fake boobs.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. That's Southlake. You just described Southlake, right?
It is. It just, no, my mom was the woman chasing down the taco truck at least twice a week. So
I love it. My mom too. My mom's actually from Mexico City, so she would cook at home. We just ate great at home. We really didn't go out to eat.
You don't need to.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Your mom can cook like that.
We would go out to eat in Mexico a lot. Like when we would travel to Mexico when I was a kid, and even as an adult, always go out to eat. That's all I want to do is go out, because they just eat differently. It's like street food,
For
right?
Sure. It's better. Did you grow up in Mexico, or you grew up traveling there for family?
Going back at the summers, basically. I would. Okay. My brother and I both would be shipped off the day after school would get out, and we would come back the day before school would come in. So we would be gone all summer for the longest time, till I was about 14 or so, and then it's I got friends. I can't go all summer. I've got Joni's birthday party in July. I got to make that. So stupid. Really, I look back and think, oh my God.
I'm jealous of that. So you're a little more Mexican than I am. And then, my mom always makes my dad is totally just gringo as they come, just white boy from Utah.
My dad too, from St. Louis. Yeah. Yep, same
they
thing.
Just like those dark skinned girls.
Yeah.
I don't, And then my mom is from Juarez, and she grew up in El Paso though, so she's, I think she's half maybe, so that makes me a quarter. But the food though, man, we ate good.
Yeah,
that woman can cook her butt off.
That's awesome.
So I feel you. There's nothing like good Mexican food. I think when I first moved to Nashville, that's the thing I craved the most, was just authentic Mexican.
They don't have it.
They do. It's just it's not
different, right?
My friends were let's go get Mexican. They're yeah, let's go to Chewy's. I'm that ain't Mexican. Man, that's not the real
not
stuff.
Mexican. Yeah.
No, it gets the job done sometimes. But
Sure. It's got chips and salsa and dips, right, and whatever. Yeah. But it's not the same. No.
It's not the same. No, so I feel I'm jealous that you you were able to go see like real Mexican culture though. I've never been.
Oh
Hope to someday.
gosh, yeah, you got to go. My parents
Yeah,
just immersed me in it. Thankfully, honestly,
awesome.
for a long time, I kind of rebelled against it. You know how kids can be,
Yeah,
especially in Texas, can be a little bit mean. So,
yeah,
there was, I don't know, I sort of rebelled against it a little bit, but yeah, in the end, of course, it's, you get to see another country grow. You
for
just don't
sure.
really think about it as a kid. You're just like, well, I'm here, and then I'm here, and this is
Yeah,
norm. This is normal. I thought every
you're like,
kid
this
grew
is
up
my
like that.
family.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I thought every kid was, going off to a foreign country every summer. Like I thought that's what we
yeah.
all did. I didn't think anything about it.
Man,
Um,
that's awesome.
well, Abby, let's talk about you and let's talk about moving to Nashville because that's an
Yeah,
interesting. I read some story. You graduated high school early and just like I'm going with it. You had a clear
yeah.
vision for what you wanted with your life, and I'm curious. Like at that age, most people do not have that. That don't have a clear vision. So, what led you to that? Like, what made you say I'm going to sing and I'm doing this?
Oh man, I guess the true honest answer is I'm a big old attention whore, and I just knew I wanted to perform it. No, but honestly, I grew up. I'm one of 7 kids,
Wow.
and I grew up. All of my sisters and I, we all had to do piano lessons when we turned 5. And at first, I hated those lessons. I hated Beethoven and all that stuff. But then my piano teacher one day taught me, he was like, okay, look, you learn one classical piece and you can write one. He's like, for every song you learn that you read, you can write your own. So I started writing music, and then I'd make all my dad's business people that walk in listen to me. And I realized they were listening to me, and I was like, hey, I can do this. So from a young age, I always knew I wanted to be in front of people. I always knew I was an entertainer. I thought I wanted to be an actress for a minute, but then piano and music was just so natural. It just kind of fell out of me, and it was no secret to my parents that I was going to move to Nashville one day. I was already like playing gigs throughout high school.
Yeah.
And then I actually started homeschooling so that I could travel more and practice every day.
Yeah.
I mean, that tells you how cool I am. I just wanted to play piano all day. And so,
hilarious.
yeah, so it makes me laugh when people say, you graduated school early. Wow, you must be so smart. I'm like, it's not that hard to graduate homeschool. Like, okay.
You just come down to the kitchen in the morning.
Exactly.
Right? It's like
Let's just say I have a lot more. I'm much more proud of my street smarts than I am my book knowledge. Let's just say that. But
did you get any like pushback from like friends at school or like what are you doing or?
Yeah, I really can't remember. I was still very good at like making sure I had a social life with my friends throughout high school. And you know how big football is in Texas. So there are always football games and proms. And I really feel like I got the best of both worlds. I got to pursue what I wanted to do and do school on my own time so I wouldn't interfere with what I wanted.
So you got to go to prom and do all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You're like, I'm not missing that.
The best part about prom when you're homeschooled is, you're not doing your school wrong by going to another boys' prom at another high school. So.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
I know. You make friends everywhere you go, and I just wanted to go dance. So that's what I did.
I would have thought like maybe prom for homeschooling would just be like in the backyard. It's just like.
I mean, I was for sure the homecoming queen.
Yeah.
And the valedictorian, and the favorite student.
Yeah.
So it worked out for me. I loved it.
That's awesome. So you move to Nashville and you're like, okay, why Nashville over like, LA or maybe New York even?
It's because country music. I've always known. Yeah, I mean, in Texas, country is so big to the extent that like we even have our own genre of country music, that red dirt Texas country. And it's just naturally the way I wrote. I mean, I grew up listening to George Strait and like Merle Haggard and everybody like that. And it's just what I wrote. And I knew that Nashville was the place. That's where you go to make great country music. So that's where I went.
So did you just started playing, bars and wherever you could just, get in and get a gig?
That's what's funny is I'm 17 at the time, so I can't exactly get into bars.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't go to college. I know. I didn't go to college either. And it's like the fact that my parents let me go was incredible because I had no plan, like none. I was like, I'm going to Nashville. And they're like, okay, go. And I get to Nashville and I realized it took me moving to realize I don't know anybody here. What am I doing? or even like people who go to college, you make friends, you network, people in the industry. So I got myself a fake ID so that I could get into bars to play. Yes. And it worked. And I told the bouncers, I was like, if they knew it was fake, I'm like, I'm just here to play. Like, you can watch me, put X's on my hands. I don't have any interest in alcohol. I just want to play music. So I did that for about a year and then got signed to Black River Entertainment and started doing the record deal thing. And it's been good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's the dream, right? You're living.
It is the dream.
You're living the dream. Yeah. I mean, so when did you realize that you had this such like amazing, powerful voice? I mean, I know you started singing young. Did it just come out naturally well, or did you really have to like work at it? Did you get vocal coaches? Like, how did that work?
No, I never did lessons. Singing in church. Yeah. My sisters and I, we grew up singing in church, and I've also, you were saying earlier, like, you can hear me loud and clear. Yeah. I really did learn that from singing in church, and I gotta hand it to my parents. Both of my parents are incredible singers themselves. My favorite memory growing up was learning how to sing from my parents. I mean, my mom was always cooking in the kitchen, listening to like Linda Ronstadt and Patsy Cline, and then I'd ride in my dad's truck, and he was listening to U2 and like Celine Dion randomly sometimes. And so, growing up in church too. I mean, my favorite memory is sitting on the back row of church because we were always the biggest family and the latest family. And my dad would stand up to sing with the whole congregation like everyone else. And I swear the only voice you could hear was Steve Anderson's. Like, that was it. He would just, and I would be so embarrassed. I'd be like, Dad, like, you're singing so loud. Like, can you just like blend in with everyone? And he's like, I'm a great singer. Why would I want to sing loud? He's like, you got a voice, use it. And so that's definitely carried over to my everyday life even. I mean, me and my fiance will wake up in the morning and I'll be talking full volume. And he's like, it is so early. Like, just whisper. And I think I'm talking like a normal person, so.
That's hilarious.
That's why I learned to sing, was definitely from my parents. They're beautiful singers.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, definitely have an amazing voice. It's unique. It's got soul. I mean, you've heard that, I'm sure. It's just got this great soul to it.
Thank you.
So like with, everything happening right now, how is that affected as far as like getting new music out? Obviously it's affected touring.
Sure. I mean, honestly, on the touring side, the live streams have been awesome. And people are kind enough to buy tickets to those, and I'll get my full band and we'll do the live streams. And so that's been really fun. But yeah, as far as the new music thing, I haven't released a song since COVID hit. So it's been, golly, I can't even remember when I released my last song. It was in February. So I released a song called I'll Still Love You in February. And right now I've been taking this time to just write my butt off because we got time.
Yeah.
I got all the time in the world to write and to record. Still in the studio recording. So that's been a really beautiful blessing in all this. Is before it was just like go, 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 write, record, release, write, record, release.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of that, you're on tour and you're doing interviews. And it's like, this is the first time since I moved to Nashville, really, that I've been able to write and really think about, really be picky about what I record and release. And frankly, it's something I want to keep doing forever. I'm like, why wouldn't I be picky about what I release rather than release a song just to release a song? You know, so it's been awesome for me. I've enjoyed it.
No, it's awesome. What about like the live streaming? Do you think you'll keep that going even if you start to, tour again?
Man, no, I don't think it's not the same as seeing people in person.
Of course.
It's just not like getting to meet the fans that are paying money to come to your show and, give them a handshake and hug them. Who knows if hugs will be a thing after this, but
right.
But I mean, I do miss the live shows. I miss touring so much, but it will happen again. I mean, who knows what life will be like after this, but it'll be okay.
You had a great tour last year, right? You went on tour with Rob Thomas.
Yes.
Which was amazing.
Oh my gosh. And he's the man. He is so much fun.
He is the man. Like, I mean, who didn't grow up on his music, right? Like,
well, me, but I mean, I joke with Rob all the time because I was like, why the heck I'm so glad you have me on tour with you, but you do realize, like, I'm 23. Like, I didn't know who the heck you were. And then, of course, you listen to his songs and you're like, he's everywhere. It's just one of those things he's literally everywhere. It's one of those things for me to be like, oh, that's Rob Thomas. Like, I know Smooth.
Yeah. For a while there, literally, Rob Thomas was everywhere. I mean, literally, he was everywhere there for a while. Everybody was collaborating with him. I've always loved him and respected him, and I think he's amazing. And to stick around so long in music is a tough thing, to be honest with you.
He's a class act. So that's awesome. He's just a legend. It was awesome watching him every night and learning from him, and just to meet an artist as big as he is, and for him to just take the time to like mentor me and even watch my show every night. That man would stand on side stage and watch my same little 30-minute set every single night before he went on. That's never happened to me before, ever. So that's awesome. I love that man. He's the best.
Do you think there was some sort of like piano connection?
I mean, I don't know, maybe. I sang, I mean, when I perform, it's hard for me to stay behind the piano for too long because I just like gotta go dance or something. But I think there was I would like to think there was some kind of musicians connection.
That's what I thought. I mean, I thought, okay, he's famously a great, pianist, and obviously you play piano. So I thought, and guitar. I mean, just everything, right? Producing, right? I mean, he's amazing. That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey. So what was the idea to maybe go out this summer again with him, or?
I mean, this summer, I was supposed to finish I was on tour in Europe when all of this stuff happened. So I was supposed to be for like a good month. And then this summer was festival dates and, those radio show dates, and just, we were busy this summer. So that's a bummer, all got canceled, but there is a silver lining in everything. And I really think because of this, I really think my music's going to be better because of it. And it's kind of gotten me back to the core of the music I wrote when I first moved to Nashville, and kind of back to that soulfulness that you lose that sometimes when you get busy and start writing what you think people want to hear from you.
Yeah. So. That's a great point. So you feel like before it was more personal, more intimate, and you were really just putting out things from yourself, and Yeah.
I mean,
sort of
yeah,
getting
after a
back to that.
while you start putting music out and realizing like, I need a hit, I need a hit, I need a hit, you know?
And they're not
And
easy to
yeah,
write, right? Like everyone
right.
always thinks, oh, just look at that song, right? I've heard a million times on the radio. God, those are so easy to write. It's like those are the hardest
No.
songs to put together.
Well, I think where I got a little lost there for a second is I thought that writing a hit meant sacrificing what I do naturally. And it doesn't.
Got
It
you.
doesn't.
You're right. Lean
What I
into
learned
it.
from exactly what I learned from Rob is like, stop trying to write a hit. Just write. And if the people like it, they like it. And if they don't, write another song. And one day you're going to find that gold nugget that resonates with people for some reason or another. And so that's been the beautiful thing in all this. I think for a minute there, and I signed my record deal when I was 20 years old, and I just, you have stars in your eyes, and you're like, you get into the studio and you just want to write that pop like thing that everybody else is doing. And this has taken me honestly back to my roots and caused me to be really honest with myself. And it's been, gosh, it just feels freeing.
That's awesome.
So freeing.
That's awesome. I mean, I would imagine that, the one good thing about, good thing, I even hate to use that word during this time, but, every artist's, shows have been canceled. So it's not like just your shows got canceled, right? So everyone's on the same page as far as that goes. So it affecting you negatively really just depends on you and how you let it affect your career, really, right? Like what people do during this time is really going to come through later on, if people are working hard on their craft and doing their and like you're sort of recentering yourself and getting back to, I think that's awesome.
I love that word, recentering. That's exactly what it feels like. Kind of like realigning myself with my values and my actual purpose rather than, those charts I want to be on, or just like take me back to, okay, what's the purpose? Sure, charts are cool and having lots of awards is cool. I want that. Sure, I want that. But at the end of the day, like, let's focus on the purpose. And I think when you focus on that, all the accolades and all the little victories naturally follow the bigger picture.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, look, I'm a chef, so I owned a place here in Austin for a long time.
Yeah.
And I just closed it last year. And when it comes to cooking, like you kind of get drawn into the same thing where you want to give people what they want when they come to see, when they come to eat at your place. But what I've learned from great chefs, just like you've learned from great musicians, is the same thing I was taught. Don't do that. Don't give them, right. Don't try to force it. Mm-hmm. It's never going to work. You're never going to give them your best you if you do that. Mm-hmm. So give your best you, then people will come for that food, and
I love that.
It worked.
Yeah.
It absolutely worked. And you're less stressed. All your passion and your energy goes into the art. Right now I'm creating this amazing food that people want to eat, and I'm not trying. I'm just making something that I'm inspired by, and hopefully other people will want to join in on it. And it really does work.
I love, man, if only school was taught in food analogies, I would have done so much better. I'm like, food, I understand. I can understand food.
That's hilarious.
That's beautiful, Patrick. I love that.
That's awesome. Sure. Yeah, it's funny. We use a lot of food analogies on the podcast. It just comes up. Honestly, I can't take credit.
Yeah.
I've heard other musicians say it to me, it just like they compare it to cooking, like writing a song is like coming up with a dish. And when you start
creative,
it is true, right?
It's all so creative. Yeah. So I bet you've had I know I have those moments where your creativity kind of is I don't know what the right word is, but kind of gets to you in a negative way sometimes. And that sometimes I wish I was just like a normal person and wasn't so emotional all the freaking time. And like, not everything needs to be a song, Abby. Like, just,
That's hilarious.
It's just in you. And my poor fiance is like, not everything needs to be what's the meaning of life. And
Sure. No, but
it needs to
you're an artist. You think deep
it's
about
just
things.
in you. Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
it.
And
It's a curse.
even man, I have this question because I get this question a lot. Is like, for me, people ask me, because you're an artist, like, just going to concerts kind of, are you analyzing the concert? So like, when you go to other restaurants, are you analyzing the food, or can you just enjoy it if it's really, really good?
I can just sit and enjoy it. I
Yeah.
can.
I'm
Yeah,
the same way.
it took time. It took time, though. I'm not gonna lie. I think
Mm,
at the beginning, you almost like feel pressured or even want to show off, like, oh, I know
ah,
about these things. So you're like worried about everything. But once I've been in the restaurant industry almost 20 years. Once you've done it long enough, you just
you're
want to go.
confident.
Yes, you just want to go
Yeah,
enjoy what this person is offering me, and I don't want to work right now. I just want to
exactly.
enjoy this meal. Or if I go out to eat with people, they're looking at me like,
What do you
what's
think?
this? What's that? Yeah. What do you do? Just order whatever you want. Like
Enjoy it.
yeah, just enjoy it. Just get whatever you
Yeah,
want. Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. So what is that? So you do go to concerts and you can just have fun.
Oh, for
Fan.
sure. Yeah, like, just to be able. I mean, there's always the nerd in me that just wants to learn, and like,
Sure.
I'm
Checking out
thinking
a
about,
mic or
oh,
something or,
right, and
something like that.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh man, that's so cool. Like, I want to do that in my live show, or picking up on like what artists say during their sets in between the
Yeah.
songs and
Okay.
how they
Yeah.
engage the crowd. It's hard not to look at that and want to steal the genius out of their concerts rather than me go create mediocrity. I'd much rather
That's
copy
funny.
someone's genius in that and do what they did because it's working and it's
Yeah.
works for a lot of people. So yeah, I'm like you, like that. There's still the little girl in me that goes to concerts and is just like, oh my gosh.
I think that's great, right? You'll always be a fan. You're a fan
For
first.
sure. Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the reason I wanted to do music. It's because I was always a fan. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Where do this might be a crazy question, and I'm kind of jumping ahead, but where do you see yourself in 10 years as
Oh,
a musician?
selling out arenas
Yeah.
and accepting my Grammys and all that good stuff.
I love you got to see the goal, right? I mean, that's what
Man,
they say.
you do. And I've always been, who knows if anything that, COVID's taught me is I had a lot of goals for myself this year. I had a lot of goals for myself last year and the year before that. And probably I maybe accomplished, I don't know, 4 out of the 10 goals I set for myself. And I've also accomplished so many things that I would have never thought to set a goal for myself in.
Yeah.
And so if anything that Corona's taught me in this time is like, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You really don't. I think you can hope for the best,
Sure.
want it, wish for it, but at some point you got to let go.
Yeah.
At some point it's either yours or it isn't. And you got to roll with the punches. And if you really want it, you'll keep pursuing it. And, I think everything kind of works out for people who allow the light in, if that makes sense, rather than, my mom always gave me this analogy. She's like, it's like being a horse with blinders on. If you're focusing on one thing, for that only one thing, how can you see all the other amazing things happening around you that could have been yours?
Wow.
And so I love that analogy, right? It's like, focus on your blessings and see all the other good things that are happening to you rather than that one thing that maybe didn't work out.
I think that's great advice. Like a fish in a fishbowl, right? There's more to it.
More to it. There's a whole ocean out there.
That's right. There's a whole ocean out there. I mean, I think it's a great way to look at it. Like you said you completed 4 of the 10 goals. Well, what if you'd only set 3 goals? All right, you wouldn't have completed 4. Well, but you'd only done 4. So my motto has always been, set your goals and standards the most you can, because you'll get the furthest you'll ever go right? You should never complete your goals or even
No.
reach your standards because they should
And
be
they
so far
change.
ahead. And they change. That's another
Yeah.
thing. They change.
Like I've learned that like I was saying earlier, my purpose has always stayed the same.
Yeah.
You know, but the road there, the means to the end is constantly changing. Because our world is constantly changing. You know, I mean, look at us. Like,
yeah, for real. Like, for real. Like,
and I'm sure the restaurant business has totally changed.
Oh, gosh. It's, I don't think I'll go back into it. I mean, I just don't see, I don't see, it would have to be an unbelievable opportunity or who knows? I mean, I'm saying that now, but maybe 5 years from now, something else, you know, pops up. I mean, at this point, I would do like a partner consulting thing. Like that's it. I don't want to run a restaurant anymore. Those days are beyond done. I don't want to do it. It's
so when I open my tamale truck in Nashville, you can come be a consultant.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? And a taste tester, because you're gonna need one of those. You know,
I'm telling you, Patrick, you could do some real authentic Mexican food. You, me, and my mom, we would.
Let's put it together, man. Tamale. You said you had me at tamales. You know, like,
tamales truck and some real salsa. And, oh yeah.
Bring the real deal there to Nashville.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It's not there. Yeah, that is kind of crazy. I did talk. Who else did I speak to? Casey James. I don't know if you know who that is.
Oh, I know Casey. Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke to him. I'm pretty sure he said the same thing to me about Nashville, that he couldn't get good Mexican food, and obviously he couldn't even get good Tex-Mex. I mean,
right?
You know,
Tex
there.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah. So that's something he missed as well. From
Nashville has great food though. Like
Nashville's a great city. I love Nashville. I mean,
awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah, Nashville's.
But we need some dang Mexican. We need some real Mexican food out there for sure. There's
good. You know, they've got good, just Southern comfort. And to be honest with you,
my gosh,
it does have good barbecue. It's not the same as Texas, but it's just different. Yeah,
it's like not better or worse. It's just totally different style.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is good.
It is. It's good. Barbecue is just like
my pants.
Give me.
Still good. I'll still eat it.
Has it been hard during the pandemic to like keep on track and like?
Oh my gosh!
Right.
Patrick, I got home from tour, and like within 2 months of being off tour. Granted, I was on tour in Europe, so I was drinking and eating everything because you gotta experience it, right?
Yeah, it's Europe.
So I just call that like my social wave, my social love. Girls gotta live. And then when I got home, and I always do this when I'm off tour, I'm like, I got my tour life and I got my home life. And when I'm home, it's kind of like get down to business and let's take care of yourself again. And
yeah.
I couldn't. I could not bring myself. Oh, sorry.
Oh, please, fine.
I put my phone on do not disturb. Somehow people still call me. So sorry. I seriously got home and I sat on the couch and I was watching TV because I thought this was gonna last for like a few weeks, maybe. Yeah. And then month 3 rolled around. I couldn't put my jeans on, and I was like, okay, it's time. It's time. They fit now, thank goodness. But
they fit now. That is hilarious.
But it was. I enjoyed it so much to just not really care for a minute. It's good for the mental health. It's good for the brain and the soul. And man, I had a great time.
Yes. Look, my neighbor across the street, his nickname is Country. That's what he calls himself. old Country. He hangs out on the corner of his house like constantly. Like you walk outside my house, there he is on the corner, just Country, sitting in a chair, drinking a beer. You know, that's what he does. Anyway, he's been terrorizing me the last couple of weeks. Every time I walk out, making jokes about my quarantine belly.
Yeah.
He just keeps telling me, oh, hey Patrick, you got looks like you're putting on a few pounds over there.
You got a nice keg going on.
Yeah, constantly. I mean, every time I walk out,
Patrick, Dad bods are so in right now. So, hey, if you is happy, no one can bring you down if you're happy. So,
my stomach shows. It says I'm happy. I mean,
you're probably very happy. So I say keep eating. Skinny people look miserable. So.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, like, I love to eat. What's wrong with that? I mean, I love food. I love eating. And I love, like your fiance, I love grilling too.
Oh,
except
man.
I don't use a real grill, though.
What do you use?
I use a fire pit. I'm weird. I mean, I'm weird. So I just grill. I do like, camping style, like still, even in my own backyard. I just like, I don't mean, it's complicated. I get into it, but I can control smoke and the flame, the heat differently, and I just like the rawness
of it. That sounds like the real deal.
I just like the realness of a little fire pit that I have in a bucket, and then I cook on it or in it or just wrap shit up. Yeah, you know what I mean? It just really. Some of my chef friends would probably be like, "What the hell are you doing?" But the other ones are like, yes, right? It's like, yes.
Yes. I'll tell you, he appreciates that. I swear, all he looks like when he goes to bed, he'll watch, a couple episodes or whatever, goes to bed and is scrolling on his phone. I swear the only accounts he follows is like men making meat. That is it. It's like grilling, that, like all the different, and he's such a details guy that he's like, oh, he used the FP21 Traeger grill. I don't know, whatever, and cook it to a certain time. He takes a lot of pride in that, and he's a great cook. Like,
I mean, it matters. He's right.
It does.
He's right. Like, those details matter. It's about aerodynamics, the way you trim the meat. It's about the smoke.
He's flame. Exactly like you. Yep.
Yes, that's that. Yep. I actually worked you can tell him. I worked very briefly with Aaron Franklin here in Austin.
Oh, and, nice.
He taught me how to cut brisket and, just lots of different things that I learned from working in his pit room, for sure. That opened my eyes to things I just didn't even think about, to be honest with you. They take it very seriously.
Well, especially in Texas. I just can't imagine learning like that. Learning that would be fascinating.
The first time I did it, he was right behind me, and I cut this brisket, and he just looked at me and he said, "Don't ever do it like that again."
Wrong. You're just wrong.
And I was like, okay, yes, chef. No problem. Got that. Man. Didn't know.
Yeah, you learn fast that way.
There's a right way to do it. Apparently, I just thought I'm just going to cut this like any meat I cut. No, there's a perfect way to cut the brisket to where it doesn't bruise the meat and whatever.
See, I didn't know that.
Wow. Yeah. There's a whole science to cooking, to be honest with you. It is quite fascinating if you get into it. But for the most part, most people, they're just cooking at home. They don't need to know any of that stuff.
Right.
You just need to. The best advice I give people of when they say, "Well, I don't cook very much at home," it takes too much time. I don't know what I'm doing. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the real thing of why you don't cook very much at home is because you don't have your kitchen organized to cook, right?
So it's not enjoyable.
Well, you've got just things everywhere. You've got things everywhere. It doesn't make sense. Like, I'm going to grab this here and grab this here. If you walk into a kitchen at a restaurant, you'll notice what is a term they use called mise en place. It just means everything in its place. And the mise en place will be perfect. Everything will be so you can cook, right? I got my oil here,
that's awesome.
Here, my towel. So if you set up your kitchen at home like that, to where I can easily cook and clean quickly, you'll cook all the time.
Oh, you love that.
You'll do it all the time because it's just set up easily, right? Your spatula. You don't need a bunch of nonsense. I'll say that right now. You just need a knife, cutting board, a good saute pan. I can't honestly. It's some tongs. That's it, and a towel. and maybe
That's
some
it.
good music
I'm with
while
you.
you cook,
I'm
right?
so with you. I think it's always funny when I ask my my mom for any like family recipe, and I'll text her. I'll be like, "Hey, how'd you make the like chicken mole from what?" She's just like, "Oh, so good." And she'll text me and she'll just list the ingredients and like the instructions, but no measurements. She just hates measurements. And I'm like,
I don't
well,
do
how
that
much
either.
of each?
I don't do
I
measurements.
know. I'm like, how much of each? She's like, I don't know. Just figure it out. Like, just taste it. She's like, just cook it. Just, what do you mean, what measurements? And so I had to do the same thing on Friday. I'm like filming this little segment for this cooking bit I'm doing with the Grand Ole Opry. And I sent in my recipe, our family recipe for chicken tinga. And the same thing happened. They were like, well, they were getting the ingredients for it, and they're like, how much of each? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, you just do a little dash here. It's like telling instructions in the country. Like when you see the tree on the left, turn right.
Yeah.
Same thing in the kitchen. It's like when it tastes too salty, add more water. I don't like.
That's why I cook and don't bake. Right,
Oh, I hate
because
baking.
baking is all
do it.
about measurements
You
and
have to read the
science.
instructions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't bake either. In fact, I made some bread last night. My wife will tell you it was hard as a rock. I mean, we were joking. We were joking with it, like we were throwing it around. Like, look how hard this. I mean, like I just handed it to her. I said, "Feel the weight of it."
Oh my
She's like, "Oh
god.
my god, what is this?" I said, "I'm not.
Oh
I
my
don't, that's why I don't
gosh.
do it. This is why I don't do it." You know.
I'm with you. Cooking all the way is so much fun.
Yes, cooking all the way. Well, look, Abby, I've had an absolute blast, chatting with you today.
Me too.
This has been awesome. You have such great energy. I'm so looking forward to any new music, that you got coming out, and obviously, hopefully, everything sort of clears up with this. You'll be able to get back out on the road because I know you missed that.
Yeah. Well, hey, thank you, Patrick. I appreciate your time, and we'll talk about the tamale truck, man.
There we go. Absolutely. You know where to find me. So yeah, the tamale. We gotta come up with a name.
It.
The name. It's all in the name.
It is.
Look, Abby, before we go, just let people know how they can connect with you on social media or online.
Yeah, on Instagram, you can follow me and laugh at me at Abby Anderson Music. I'm on the Twitter, AbbieA_music, and Facebook. Say everything's Abby Anderson Music. That's how you can find me.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Abby. Enjoy the rest of your week. And be safe out there.
You too, mister. All right. Have a good one, Patrick. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. I really hope you enjoyed that podcast as much as I did. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to email the podcast at patrick@texasrealfood.com. And don't forget, you can check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all the different places you can get podcasts. You'll find us on there. Or you can just go to our website, go to thelonestarplate.com. And you can check us out on YouTube if you want to watch it. We video these now, on a little webcam here, and go to the Texas Real Food YouTube channel and you can find it there. Make sure to follow Texas Real Food as well on Instagram and Facebook. Subscribe. And if you are so inclined, please leave us a review anywhere you can. Follow us on Spotify or leave a review on Apple Podcast. That would really help us out. Thanks again for listening. Really do appreciate it. Without you guys, what's the point of doing this? So if you have any suggestions on how we can make the show better, please let us know. Thanks again. Be safe out there. Wash your hands.